Hello, everybody out there. I am back. That's right. I am your host. This is Jessica Koch, and this show is Profound Professionals. It's the interview series that's been coming to you for 9 years now. We bring you industry experts from all over the globe. They help improve your personal life or help you grow your business. Today, we have a really interesting and fascinating, exciting guest. He is Christian. He is an author. He's a resilient thriver, and he's enjoying the journey of life. And he's going to share with us a bit of his story and a bit about his book as we go through our show today. So welcome, Christian.
Thank you, Jessica. What an honor to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to your listeners, and I look forward to our conversation today.
So I got a sneak peek a little bit of your life before this moment now, prior to our show. Share with everybody a little bit of your journey story.
I think one of the important things to realize about people in general is everyone has a super unique story. Everybody has really crazy things that they've done and boring, horrible times they've gone through. And, one of the things that I like to talk about is how you handle it. So my life is very varied. At 20 years old, I dropped out of college. I was actually going to a Bible college to be a missionary. And I got a one-way ticket to Hawaii and did some fun stuff and then joined the Marine Corps from there. So started off as a young person in the armed forces and
thank you for your service. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
What an exciting branch of the military too. There's so many. I've been exposed to, my son is Army. I've been involved with Air Force, and my father was Navy. And so what a really prestige. All of the branches are fabulous, and they do and serve in their unique way. But there's something super special, I think, about the Marines.
You just brought back some really neat memories when you said that, because I was fortunate enough to get stationed in DC as Presidential Honor Guard. So I did the things at the tomb and the burials and the presidential stuff, all the speeches, and it was always all the different armed forces, the best of the best. So I would encourage anybody who can go to DC and catch some of those events, especially, if they love their country, have that patriotic feeling. It's a great way to be exposed to the best of the military.
Yeah, I've actually gone and experienced some of those ceremonies and celebrations and traditions, and they're incredible to watch. And what can you say about the uniform? It's pretty hot stuff.
Right?
Got to beat those women away with a stick. It's pretty hot stuff.
Well, I was young and dumb back then, but time goes on, and I was sent off to Desert Storm for a little bit and came back and got married, had a 5-year marriage, and then got married again, and just had a beautiful family in a beach town. And the interesting part of this book is it just kind of snapshots some of the best years of my life when I was just working through the issues of life, business and dealing with things and relationships and faith. And life is really just amazing. So many people spend so much time trying to convince other people to do life the way they do it.
Yeah.
But it's a very unique walk. And
it really is.
About how you process that.
And your book is filled with all kinds of really resourceful tips. So share with us one that you would help someone, really get in touch with their own personal journey so they can thrive on the other side of that. Give us a tip that we can use today in the audience.
Yeah, happy to. I would say the tip is to process things fully. The title is really to get people's attention, and they're the things that most people aren't willing to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
especially on social media. But
Right.
the truth is we have these passionate topics and
Mm-hmm.
we have to deal with them. We have to decide who we're going to have in our sphere of influence and be able to talk
Mm-hmm.
about those things and process them. We listen to people in that have platforms that speak,
Mm-hmm.
and if we don't work out what we really feel about a particular topic, we're just going to be blown about and
Mm-hmm.
unstable in all our ways. So it's kind of like what they used to have on Saturday Night Live called Deep Thoughts. This
Mm-hmm.
was my blog. This was my basically emotional and spiritual diary from 2008 to 2022. So there's nothing made up in here. There's
Mm-hmm.
uh, there's articles that end with questions instead of answers. But if
Mm-hmm.
anything, I want to model to people that it's really important to know what you believe and why you believe it, and be
Mm-hmm.
able to articulate it, and mostly only when asked. So I hope other people who, you know, they're timeless issues. And
Mm-hmm.
if anything, sometimes just reading through and realizing, oh, I'm not the only one going through this, and this
Mm-hmm.
is how I can handle this. I hope it helps.
Yeah, and one of the things that I loved you said is, discovering that, but giving yourself the time to discover that. I'm in a book club, and we're reading a book right now about, deepening your love with yourself so that you can deepen love with the relationships you have. And it's been a really fascinating book. I've done a lot of that kind of work over the years, and this is sort of just a what else can I learn? And the book the group picked for this particular cycle. But I always try to believe I can learn something else. And one of the fascinating things she said was to give yourself that moment to check in and see how do you feel about something, and how you feel literally physically in your body. Is there something in your stomach, in your chest? Do you breathe differently? How do you feel about something? And also give yourself to think and then formulate a response. So we don't have to answer every text or every phone call when it comes in, especially if it's a relationship that's challenging and we're working on and trying to be the best version of ourselves in. And some of our favorite people are our family, but some of our most challenging relationships are our family. and 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 setting that boundary to give yourself permission to do that. So you get great advice, but I would remind everyone to give yourself permission to not have to come up with whatever that is immediately. That it's okay to take a minute. And even if that means you have to text back hey, I'm so happy to hear from you. And I'll get back to you soon. And that way you're not silent treating someone, but you're giving them and yourself the respect for that space you need to formulate where you are on whatever it is. So I think that was great advice. You have a nonprofit, one of the best parts of our show since show number one, starting 9 years ago. We always spread and spend some time in our show for awareness. I believe awareness is a really important gift we can give any cause, but we just might inspire someone to give time, treasure, or talent to the cause you share, or to one they care about, or one that right now, you out there watching, I see you, type in the comments the causes that are close to your heart and that you love. And when someone is nice enough to hit that share button, we might be reaching the world with new and interesting causes that they need personally, that they know someone could use the benefit of, or again, inspiring them to be a hero and give some time, treasure, or talent to those beautiful causes out there in our whole big planet. There are so many causes across the world that are of value and supporting community and humanity and the people of the world. So, Christian, talk to us about your cause.
Well, that has morphed over time. Back in, I think it was probably 2009 or so, I started a nonprofit with my brother, and it was basically for online discipleship. It was to help people
Mm,
struggling with issues of life,
sure.
and it was sort of successful for a while, but then social media came out and totally replaced that old WordPress forum
Yeah.
type thing. And then throughout the years of raising a family, we used that to do whatever project that we had at the moment. So my wife ran a worship arts camp. I did
Lovely.
jail ministry. I became a chaplain. One of my
Mm,
dream jobs
mm,
is kind of outlined and related to that. It's mixing an
mhm,
ombudsman function with a chaplain function.
mhm.
Right now, I've just spun up a website for Africa Discipleship Network in Kisoro,
Oh,
Uganda. So
love
supporting
that.
widows and orphans and feeding people and economic growth in Africa and
Mm,
also Pakistan. Got a young man out there. So
mhm,
it's having a nonprofit that serves whatever season of life you're in to do good in the world, I guess
mhm,
is what's done. And that was called reclaimed.us. That's the website for it. But
mm.
that's just been, the main corporate name behind all the other projects that we
Mhm.
do at any given time. So
It's
right now
lovely.
it's the missions mostly.
I love organizations and missions like that that help families, like by providing animals or micro loans for them to start a business, or things that are going to go further than just education, giving them a trade or a skill, things that wells for clean waters, things that have a long impacting um, experience for that particular person, that particular family, that particular community. Those are beautiful things. So
And
thank
it's
you for
fun to
that.
pull together resources. We were lucky enough to, I'm a Christian myself, but I worked with a
Mhm.
Muslim partner over in
Yeah.
Uganda to have his wife, who was an optometrist, get eyeglasses for like
Love
300
that.
kids, and they also vaccinated them at the same time. And to
Mhm.
be able to have a part of pulling together people of different faiths and different ideas
Yeah.
just for the good of humanity, it's
Yeah.
a lot more meaningful than just going out to pay the bills.
I think, in my opinion, all the very best spiritual beliefs, religions, foundations, whatever you'd like to call them, movements, all are all are anchored in love. Love is the core common denominator. I feel love and people matter most.
Yeah.
And how do you make the best of that in celebrating the fact that we're so much more than skin and bones, with a soul and an energy that's connected. So I think that that's really, truly beautiful. Don't stop typing. We want you adding in the comments any books you've written or books that have inspired you, a book that inspired your personal life or something that helps you grow your business. Put them in the comments. You just never know when someone else needs to come across that author, that message, that transformation and joy that you experienced when you got a hold of that book. So put it in the comments. And Christian, share with us a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business.
Probably the most impactful book was the very simple one that so many people have read over so many years, and that's The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino.
Ah,
There are principles in that book that you just want to carry through your whole life. You just talked about the importance of love, and the Bible,
yeah.
of course, says, it's all meaningless if you don't have love as your motive. And Og Mandino in that book, he says, greet everybody with a silent "I love you,"
Ah.
along with a lot of other great, life forming habits and principles that will help you be truly successful.
You
So
know,
that's
if
the most impactful one.
if I've read that book, it has to have been 20 or 30 years ago. So it is I'm so excited that you brought that up. I don't think any of our other guests have mentioned it, and it's definitely back at the top of the list of my need to read again books. So thank you for sharing that. A fantastic one. All
I
right.
used to pull out every 10 years or so and just skim through and say, oh, yeah, I meant to be doing that.
Yeah, there's some books that are just, like you said, fantastic. You bring them out again and again. I have several of those. The Power of Focus by Jack Canfield is one of those that really is when I'm digging into and excited about a new passion project. That's my go-to book to go back through and make sure I'm on mark. I love the in the beginning of a new year, I'll often do either getting things done or eat that frog or the habits of a successful person, just to kind of rejuvenate and map out my goals for the year and the quarters, and just kind of get myself re-energized. And another one I do is the 1 minute manager, making sure I'm working with my team really wonderfully. And years ago, I stumbled upon a YouTube video that was almost an hour long by the author of the 1 minute manager. He was being interviewed, and he tells the story of how he really didn't have faith prior to writing this little book. And the book had so much success, the book took him on a journey of finding faith. And he went on to later write, I believe the book is called Lead Like Jesus. And just a really inspiring story all in all. But that was, if I would highly recommend, search YouTube, the name of this guy, the author of the 1 minute manager. He leaves my mind at the moment, but you'll find him easy. And look for the long form videos, because it's a longer, like I said, like an hour long interview, but it was captivating and interesting, and I wanted him to talk longer. So great interview on YouTube somewhere, in the world of YouTube somewhere, that you can find that. So, but let's talk a little bit more about your book, and the journey you went on, and what you share inside the book you've written, Christian.
Okay. Before I bring up that book, just because it
Okay.
has to do with books, I had a guest in my home he was a young man, and he was extremely spiritual.
Mm.
And this is called The Cost of Love. It's not in print
Mm.
now, but it probably will be soon, because I've just got his permission to republish it.
Oh,
And
yay.
it is a really unique book. It's like poetry in the way it reads. It's got
Oh.
prophetic art in it. I found the best prophetic
Ah.
artist I could find online. Her name was Pam Herrick, and she actually did the illustrations in this book. Um,
I definitely want you to send me the link. And if he sends it to me, we'll put it in the custom article about Christian when we post this around. We're live streaming on several platforms now, but when we post it around and repost it again, and on our site, you all know, it's under construction. Hang on, we're bringing some fun new stuff to you on our new website that's in the process. But we will have a space for you to find the link to that book, as well as Christian's other books. So thank you
I'll
for
tell you,
sharing that.
free tip value right now, thecostoflove.info. You can listen to it for free. Um,
Mm.
and I recommend just darkening the room and getting relaxed and listening, because it's a beautiful story of what the relationship between God and man and woman could have looked like in the garden before the fall. And it is absolutely
Oh,
beautiful. That was a
beautiful.
passion project, and it was my first experience with any type of publishing. And I didn't write it. All I did was pull it all together, but it was an honor to do it. Um,
Wow, wonderful. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. That's exciting.
But my book, the one that I just published, is Freedom, Guns, and Jesus. Now, that title, let's not get caught up on that. It's not promoting, anything other than personal accountability, deep
Mm.
thinking, how to handle life, how to have integrity, build a strong foundation, asking questions, asking honest
Mhm.
questions about yourself, your heart, your faith, people around you, giving away your authority,
Mm.
stand what's worth taking a stand for and what's not,
Mm.
talking about seasons of life. Um, and really, I didn't put it in my blog. And this book was so easy to publish. I'd been saying for years, I got to put this in a book, because it's kind of that bucket list thing.
Mhm.
And the way God does things, it's like, when the time comes, I'll prepare the way. And
Mm.
I ran across a publishing challenge, 7-day book publishing challenge. And I threw this thing together in 7 days, because all the content was already out there.
Yeah.
And it was a free book challenge, and I got it out on KDP. And, yeah, it was a lot of time
Wonderful.
designing the cover and putting it all together. But all I had to do was basically edit what I had already written years ago.
Yeah.
They are timeless principles. I mean, it's historical. You'll see me working through, as a young family man to an older family man, through these difficult economic and political times and the crazy
Yeah.
time we had a couple of years ago and how to
Yeah.
deal with that. And really just in my own flavor, which was, I got a really cool compliment from a friend. He said, "I've known you a long time, but I didn't know you could actually write." he said, he said, "I started reading your book at 4:30 at night, and I put it down 4.5 hours later. I just couldn't put it down." And I was like, "Wow, okay, you've been with me through most of this stuff, but now you know I can actually write too. That's helpful."
Yeah, with when people in your own neighborhood give you a compliment, that's something big, right? That's a big deal because they're our harshest critics often. Um, we are talking a bit about spirituality here, and we totally respect the right for. That's one of the beautiful things about being citizens of this great country, the United States. Um, we have this ability to respect one another's beliefs and religions of all kinds. And I was recently reading a verse myself yesterday that I had never heard before. And I just can't get over. I'm not going to quote it perfectly, but the concept is the blessings that we receive from God the Father, Creator, wherever you are in that journey, are immeasurably more than we can imagine. And I just been repeating that phrase, thanking Him for blessing me immeasurably more than I can imagine.
Mhm.
And just what an exciting love relationship to have, and that special relationship we get to have with our faith. So
I'd like to comment about something you just said, and that is the respect of other people's beliefs. I'm
sure.
also an ordained chaplain, and I've been through training that teaches how to, be with people while they're dying, while they're going through the
Mhm.
hardest things in their life. And
Yeah.
as a chaplain, you have to respect everybody's belief, and you can't proselytize, and you have to be willing to. It's called a ministry of presence.
Mm-hmm.
One of my business models that is laid out on chatbootsman.com. I've not ever done it, and it's probably like my dream job to be able to go into a corporation and talk to people about the deep issues, the difficulties of what they're facing, not only in the workplace but in their family,
Yeah.
on a non-specific. It doesn't matter what faith they are or whatever, but be
Yeah.
able to be there, let them know somebody cares. Find out what's going on, and then minister to them just by walking them through it. Putting a hand on their shoulder, telling them someone sees them is so important.
Yeah, validating and presence. Presence is key in what you mentioned. My grandmother, who taught me to swim, who I adored, and I was her princess. She adored me. Was Jehovah Witness, and so we didn't share a similar faith. I had different beliefs in my faith system, but I was the only one at her bedside in her last breathing moments, and I held her hand and I sang with her and I prayed with her and I was respectful of her personal beliefs and was just there with her as she stepped over into the next moments of her existence. And it was hard and beautiful.
Yeah,
It was both of those things. It was difficult and probably one of the most difficult things I've ever done on the list. It's up there. And also one of the most wonderful things I've ever done and experienced and was present for. So,
yeah. And as you mentioned, different denominations. We've probably, if we've been open-minded and we've talked to people of other faiths, sometimes we meet the person, whether it's a Jehovah's Witness. I've talked to a Jehovah's Witness missionary, and it's like, wow, that person has a better grip on Christianity than most Christians I know. Same thing with some Muslims, and we have something to learn from everybody. But
oh, absolutely. And there's so many similarities in the Quran and the Bible. And just if we look for, like I said, the common denominator of love, of love as the core, gratitude and humanity and people mattering most, I feel like that is the common denominator of I would just say, since I don't know every religion, but some of the best religions that I've been exposed to, or belief systems or spiritual movements, or they don't all call themselves religions, whatever title they'd like to give that belief space in their faith of what they believe in and their values. They believe that's the most beautiful common denominator we all have and share.
One of my favorite pieces of advice and perspective is only God can judge the heart of a man or a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't exist, you don't need to worry about it.
That's right.
So everybody stop judging each other. Let's all learn from each other.
That's right.
My personal belief is I'm very sad to see the philosophical attack on the personness of a perfect Father God who actually loves you personally and wants to teach you and succeed like any good father would, and the deity of Jesus Christ. Those are my personal beliefs, and I would say that in front of any audience and every audience as I have the chance to do so. But I believe anybody who searches for truth with all their heart and doesn't give up and is willing to have an open mind and shut off the things that prove to not be true, they're going to find God, and they're going to find God setting himself up in their heart on his terms instead of their own.
It's been really wonderful having you on the show today, Christian. I hope you've enjoyed being here with me.
I have. It's been a very enjoyable conversation, and I hope some people are exposed to it to ask the deep questions in their own lives and get some benefit out of this. It's been a real joy being here. So thank you.
And I've loved having you. And you out there, if you're thinking, wait, I'm an author, I help people with their journey of life, improving their personal life or helping them grow their business and have success beyond their immeasurable imagination of dreams, right? Immeasurably more. Then maybe you reach out to us and our team, and we will feature you on the show. But before we say goodbye today, Christian, I would love for you to share a final thought, a piece of information or inspiration as we close today.
Freedom is a big topic, and freedom is found mostly in letting go. Freedom is found in letting go of your need to be right. It's found in letting go of your need to prove. It's found in forgiving people. So the lightest, best existence is when you detach yourself from everything selfish. And I'm learning to do things at God's speed instead of mine. And you would think his would be a lot faster, but in terms of getting things done that we want done, it usually means relaxing back into the arms of God and letting him lead you day by day. That's where true freedom and peace is found.
I love that. Thank you so much for being on our show. I'm your host, Jessica Koch. This has been another Profound Professionals, everybody out there. And until next time, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.